Yo guys, this is Al again and welcome back to my channel. And in this video, we will be talking about the biggest and latest revelations of One Piece that literally had us all hooked up. Cause finally, the strongest group of villains in One Piece is revealed. And as what everyone has been talking about, the possible origin of Shanks and the secret group he is involved with and a part of. I know you're also hyped up with what all the fans of One Piece had been talking about. I mean, this silhouette definitely looks like Shanks, undeniably, but we can't be sure yet. We all know Oda. He is cunning and unpredictable, and no matter how great one's theory is, it all boils down to Oda's game. We are just the players and Oda runs the game. Anyways, as I've said, One Piece fans had been speculating that this could possibly be Shanks, his father, his brother, or any other relative. After all, just the silhouette itself speaks a lot. Just to remind you, in the movie One Piece film Red, many speculations had erupted. Shanks could also be of royal bloodline. It hasn't been verified yet, but this theory about his origin is the closest and most possible scenario. Moreover, what the movie had shown to us about Shanks' origin is that he was found by Roger and company after the God Valley incident where celestial dragons were involved. It could mean that Shanks really is from a celestial dragon family. The fact that Shanks was able to do a lot of things unthinkable from a pirate, like going to Marijoa and have a private conference with the Five Elders, stopping the war in Marineford alone and having the consent of the leader of Marines, Sengoku, even bringing the bodies of Ace and Whitebeard, which are the trophies of the Marines from the war, going toe-to-toe with the strongest of Marines and even having them surrender without lifting a finger. There are a lot of unexplainable deeds Shanks had done, so it is likely possible that this one, the one in the middle, is Shanks or a relative of him. I am even vouching for that theory, to be honest. But this video is not about Shanks again and his unexplainable feats, because I had already made a video about that. If you haven't watched it yet, watch it here. This video is about the Royal Knights or God's Knights. To start, from the name itself, these royal knights are from the royal families. Just to make it clear, I don't know what they really are called, but the translation has two different versions, God's Knights or Royal Knights. The first mention of Royal Knights was back in Reverie Arc. Akainu, the new fleet admiral, mentioned that the Royal Knights were dispatched to solve the rumble the Revolutionary Army had caused in Marijoa. The second is in the latest chapter 1083, when Dragon mentioned that their real fight is when the Royal Knights or God's Knights are mobilized. The celestial dragons, who are called gods, are from royal families, so whichever name we use are acceptable, Royal Knights or God's Knights. Anyways, going back, these royal knights are from royal families. They are like the strongest of all royal families or celestial dragons. In British history, the term Royal Knight is given to people who had accomplished special and great achievements, and traditionally, Royal Knights are people born with pedigree or nobility, trained to fight, and are referred with Sir. Wait, going with this, does this solidify the theory about Shanks being a celestial dragon or descendant of a royal family? Since we all think that this could be Shanks or his relative, right? Whatever, the bomb I'd like to drop to you all is that these royal knights are the owners of the 12 supreme grade swords. No, let me make it clear. The original God's Knights or Royal Knights were the owners of the 12 supreme grade swords. Funny, right? I also found it ridiculous at first, but I did a lot of research when my schedule allowed me, and this is what I found. Do you know that in another anime called Digimon, there are what they called as Royal Knights? If you're watching this anime, then you would know this. In this anime, there were originally 12 Royal Knights. Next is the famous Arthurian legend. I don't know if you know this, but this is a legend about King Arthur establishing his kingdom. There are a lot of plays and movies about this. Each one has its own version. One of the most popular is the series Merlin, but in this legend, there is this chapter called Knights of the Round Table. I will not be explaining the full detail about this chapter, but I'd like to emphasize that the most popular version of this Knights of the Round Table is about the legendary order of knights loyal to King Arthur, and that there were 12 knights involved. In some versions, there were more people in the scene like Merlin, but there were only 12 named knights. What I'd like to point out again is that Oda-sensei could be referencing these royal knights to the Arthurian legend. I mean, we all know Oda-sensei. His greatest creation, One Piece, is somehow related to different myths and folklores around the world. He even named some of the characters from these famous lores like Zoro, Blackbeard, Buddha, Bartolomeo, Katarina, the famous three admirals from the lore of Momonosuke, and so much more. So it is very likely that Oda also referenced these royal knights to the Knights of the Round Table from the Arthurian legend. And if that is so, I would like to correlate the 12 royal knights to the 12 supreme grade swords of One Piece. Wait, I know what you are thinking. you are thinking that I am way too presumptuous to say and assume that there are 12 God's Knights. I mean, in this silhouette, we can only count around 8 or 9. Can't really be sure that it is 8 or 9, but most probably around that. But I want to believe that there were originally 12 and that these 12 are the owners of the 12 supreme grade swords. Why? You see, in the famous Knights of the Round Table, there were only originally 8 knights. However, King Arthur non-traditionally named 4 members including Gawain and Lancelot as knights. Linking this to One Piece, how much of a coincidence is it that out of the 12 supreme grade swords, only 3 were named and known after 1038 chapters, and these 3 were owned by 3 non-world government affiliated characters. Yoru is owned by Dracule Hawkeye's Mihawk, Ace was previously owned by Goldie Roger, and Murakumogiri owned by Edward Whitebeard Newgate. The fourth known Shodai Kitetsu is yet to be known where, but most probably this. So what if these 12 supreme grade swords were really owned by the 12 original Royal Knights or God's Knights of Celestial Dragon, and that these 12 supreme grade swords were the symbols of the Royal Knights? And all throughout the history of One Piece, these 3 supreme grade swords, Yoru, Ace, and Murakumogiri, were lost or transferred to famous people who defeated the Royal Knights. That is why we can only see 8 or 9 silhouettes here. Possible, right? Also, as I've said before, the God's Knights or Royal Knights are from royal families or celestial dragons, and Dracule Hawkeye Mihawk, the owner of Yoru, lives in Magi Kingdom, Horaigana Island. It is a kingdom, so it is a home of a royal family, though it does not verify that Hawkeye is a member of that family, but it is possible that this Yoru was handed down from that family, or this Yoru was taken from a royal knight he defeated in the past, or he is a successor himself of the sword Yoru. Anyways, that is all I want to say about this Royal Knights or God's Knights, that they were the owners of the 12 supreme grade swords. Vice versa, the 12 supreme grade swords are the symbols of the God's Knights. Before I end the video, I'd like to mention what came to mind days ago when I read the latest chapter of One Piece. You see, during the reverie, together with Cobra that time, there was Chaka and Pell and Vivi. Do you know what intrigues me with this group of people? It is Pell, the strongest fighter in all of Alabasta, the commander of the Royal Guards and the current user of Toritori no Mi model Falcon. Because I thought, what if Pell was a God's Knight, protecting the royal Nefertari family, whose real allegiance was with the Celestial Dragons, and one of the reasons this happened. After all, there is Sir Peleus of the many versions of the Round Table of the Arthurian legend. Just a thought though. That's all for this video, guys. If you found the video interesting, please leave a comment and click the like button. Thanks for watching and see you in my next video.